Today we're going to be continuing our rating climb on leeches.org. So last time we hit about 20, 50, like 2050. This time let's try to hit 2100. Okay, so we have the black pieces G4. You don't see that a lot. So against G4, I think I'll go like C5 maybe. Sure. C5 doesn't look too bad. Yes, C5. Knight C6. Yeah. D6. Let's go attack. Okay, you push. And if I play E6 attacking, how do I play bishop E6 attacking? I think I'll just play E6 bishop E7 to like attack the pawn. Because I think D3, yeah, and then I play bishop E7 attacking. Two attackers, one defender, H4 I expected. Now, can I play H6, GH6, knight H6, and then knight F5 attacking the pawn? Well, I think I'll just play H5. And then after H5, I don't really see a way I can win that pawn over there. So, this knight cannot really develop right now. What can be done? D5? Nope. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think it's good. Now, our knight is not developed. What if I just play F6? Gf6, knight F6, and then I just castle? Doesn't look too bad. Okay. Interesting. What if I play knight to d4 and offer a trade? Knight d4 or knight e5? Both are good. Which square would I like a pawn on? I mean, in both cases it would be a double pawn. So, which one will be better? I think e5 is better. Yeah, let's go knight e5. And now if takes, we take with the knight and then we castle. D takes, semi-open file. Yes, that is weak. But let's try to hold on. And now if gf6, we have knight f6. If g6, we can just take and develop the knight to h6. Or just play f5 and knight f6, of course. Queen to d2. Wow, he really does not want to take. Now take, 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 take. And I don't want to play h6 because g6 will come in. So, what do I do? Well, that is one thing. So I can just play rook b8, b6, bishop b7. That's one way to start, I guess. One idea. Yeah, let's just... Yeah, sure, why not? Rook b8. Getting out of the pin. That's actually a very important move when your opponent has a fianchetto. Just get the rook out. Knight to c3. Of course, the idea will be to go to either b5 or e4 to try and infiltrate. So b6. That is an option, but if b6, there is knight to b5. And then bishop b7. Yeah, okay. Very well, I guess. b6. Then bishop b7 takes. Yeah, and then we just give up on this, and then we go like queen to d4, queen to g4. And then we try to attack somehow. Ooh. So if he does decide to castle, he will castle on the queen side. If he decides to castle. Now if bishop to b7, there is a possibility of bishop to h3, in which case I can play f5. Which is actually not a bad way. I can play g6, solidify, and then king f7, and my king is somewhat safe. I don't really see a clear way to attack. f4, no, e4 is not a bad way, but yeah, I just don't see a good plan of attack for white. So let's do this. Bishop h3, f5, and then g6. And then we still have to develop our knight. So what can be done about that? f5, g6. Perhaps bishop d6 and then knight to e7. f4, and if ef4, then I'm guessing like queen f4 or rook f4? Which one is more likely? I think perhaps rook f4. Because if queen f4, I will go queen to d4. And if rook f4, well, that just stops me. What if I go queen to d4 now? Not a bad option. Takes. Oh, but then e3, what do I do about that? e3, I have to move back and then I guess f5 maybe. So let's take. And if rook takes, I can play bishop to d6 attacking. Maybe knight to e7 next. Bishop d6, knight e7 castle. But the moment I play knight e7, you do gf6. Okay, queen f4. Now if I play queen to d4, then this is covered by the rook, bishop, pawn. So you cannot enter here on this diagonal. Okay, queen d4, queen takes, pawn takes, and then what? Knight e4, knight e4, f5, I guess. Yeah, not that bad of a position. And if you stay on the diagonal, I can play bishop to d6 attacking again. In which case bishop to f4, bishop takes f4, and then rook takes f4, and then queen to e5. Takes, takes, knight e4, f5. Yeah, and then what? Knight goes back to c3. Oh, knight to g3 is an option. No, because bishop d6 and knight h5, g6. Then you go back and I play e5, and then I'm just bullying your knight at this point. So, I mean, if you just step out of the way, the h pawn is hanging. So you have to remain or take. You have to stay defending the pawns, or you have to just take the queen. Any other ideas up my sleeve? I mean, I need to somewhat develop the knight. So if you move your queen like f2. Oh, okay, I cannot take because you could just go to f7 check. And then, okay, the queen is defending on g7. So what can I do here? I mean, your bishop is undefended. The rook in the corner is also bad, but the same goes for my knight and rook. Knight to b5, not a bad option, but I take, and then a6 forces your knight back. Oh wait, no, if bishop takes, I'll play e5 attacking the bishop to force it out, and then a6 to kick the knight back straight. Okay, so let's take, and then e5, and if gf6, I take your bishop, you take my bishop, and then I take with the knight, you take with the rook. Let's count material. I lost a bishop, you lost a bishop, but I lost 2 pawns and you lost only 1. That leaves you with an extra pawn. Okay, you go back, I play a6. You go knight to c3, trying for d5. Then I play bishop to d8 and knight to e7, I guess. Or I can just play g6, f5. Yeah, that works. g6, gf6, and knight f6, and then if bishop to g5, then I have castle. Yeah, not bad, g6. And then if knight to d5, then I just do f5, and then I guess knight takes bishop, and I take back with my knight. g6 and f5, and if e4, we have f4, and then your knight will just be strongly placed on d5. So f5. Otherwise, I just lose the pawn. So f5. And this does look like it's equal. Maybe white has a slight advantage. Me, I have to try doing the best I can to defend. So takes, knight takes, and your knight can't actually do anything else. I mean, that is controlled. These two, I mean, yeah, they're controlled. So trading off my bishop is the only thing you have. And that's only for this move, because if you don't take, I play bishop to d8, followed by knight to e7. So, anything I like, any other plan? I can try knight, maybe bishop d8 and rook d7. I don't want to sack the rook for a knight though. Maybe b5 works. b5 takes, and then you have b2 pawn hanging. Of course, e4, and I play f4. No, if I play f4, then the e5 pawn becomes weak. But it's alright, I have bishop to d6 defending it. Okay, I take with the knight. And I have knight to c6 defending it. And I can castle and play f3. Or I can just put my knight on d4. Ooh, knight d4 to c2. But I think I'll just go rook to d7 attacking d3. I mean, yeah, d3. But if I do attack d3, then you'll defend it and I will not get to put my knight on c2. Like, for example, if you play rook to d1 and I play knight to d4, I still cannot. Ooh, okay. Very well, then. If I go there and you go. Yeah, rook to d7. Sure. Attack. And if you defend, I go in. And if you don't take, I have knight to c2 check, forcing the king out. And then knight to e3, forking. Okay, you just moved the king out. But now this comes with a check. So if you take, I take with the rook. Rook, or do I take with the c pawn? I mean, both are good options, but I think taking the rook might be better. But if you like, bring this rook and then I somehow just bring the other rook, then of course I'm not really doing anything. It's not that strong. Now if I take with the c pawn, you play b4, I play rook c7, but then you have the c5, and you just advance. Which one do I want? Taking the e pawn is out of the question. I lose the f pawn. Very well, I take with the rook, and then I just come back, reroute to the f file. b4. Okay, I see the plan here. So king e7 or king d7. I like king d7. Very well, king d7, I guess. Then king to c6. Because if I take, you take, and then my a pawn is weak. You come to the b file, I play king c6, controlling all the squares. This is controlled by the rook. These three are controlled by the king and the pawn, of course. And then this is controlled, so these are the basically only three squares you have. And I put all my force on the refile. Now I can just sack and take and force a trade, and then after you move the king, I take on a file. That does look winning, so let's go for it. f3, sacrificing the pawn. If you play king to d2, then I can just pick up a pawn. And like same for king to d1, I pick up the pawn. Now if king e3, king f2, king f1, and king e1 are still options. So what do I do? Hmm. And if you go to f file, I still take the pawn. If you go to e1, I still take the pawn. So looks like e3 is probably okay. Fine, I just take that, and then I take, and then I take that. Or do I go to d4 and fork? Nah, I'll take, and then I'll go there, and then I'll take. Because I'm pretty sure you'll go to b8, and then okay. Now wait, do I? Oh, I'll go to e3 because when I take this, I can take that as well. Now takes. You go to b8, and then I take this check. You move, and then I take that check as well. And I'm pretty sure that is winning for me. Now if you take, I'm not gonna take because you go there. Now I take check. Now I can give a check on the f file. Or do I want to take this pawn? Yeah, I think I'll just take the pawn. And then I'll give a check and go to f5. Now you go to h8 and attack my pawn. Okay. That is expected, you can say. Now I can give a check. But, okay, how do I continue this? Do I just push the a pawn? Yeah, and then you just take, and then I go here. And then if you attack, then I play a4. And you push. And I give a check. So I give a check on f4 with the pawn defending. If you go that way, I can, like, if you go e5, e3, I just go to g4 and attack. But if you go to g3, then it will be harder. It'll be kind of hard to stop the pawn. So I put the rook on f8, you bring your king closer. Okay, now my only hope is to promote this pawn. Okay. Push, perhaps. King to d4. Push. If I push this, you go there. So, sure, king to d4. Um, nope, I'll go there. And then if you go to e4, which I'm pretty sure you will, I can go to b2. And you give a check, I go to c2. Because if I go to c1, uh, perhaps c1 is the way to go. No, if you attack, I can't defend. So, I go to b2. Push. A3, I guess. I think this might be a draw. But I do have my chances. So, if you do not give a check in this move, I mean, if you play king to d4, I push. And, so I think I can somehow bring the rook here and promote. I mean, I can try. So wait, if I go king to b4 and then you go king to d4, and then I play, and I push to c2. Okay, push. Okay, it is very close to promotion. And I think this might be a draw. Yep, this is a draw. Um, or I can just go to d8, but okay, fine, I'll just end it right here. Promote, and it's a draw. This is just a draw. Yep, draw. So we were not able to reach 2100, but well, we managed to stay at above 2050. Ooh, looks like in this part I could have won in the end game. The end game was completely winning for me. I mean, of course, I had two extra pawns, but I did something here. Oh, yeah. This was a bad move. Oh, I should have gone to the first rank, and if you push, then I could have just given a check and taken it. How did I not see that? It's okay. Okay, well, let's go from the beginning. This one actually, -1 on move number 1. Wow. Okay, it was. So this knight e5 move was a slight mistake. Perhaps knight to d4. Oh, h6 was the right move. But h6, g6, right? Oh, but then after king f8, my king is really safe. Your pawn is stopping your own pieces from coming. And, yeah, these were slight inaccuracies. Okay, this was a blunder. Not really a blunder, I would say it's a mistake, but alright. Yeah, this one was bad. And knight takes, and then here we uh, had a very slight advantage. It was really draw, but we made a mistake, went to white winning, but of course he gave us the chance, and here I took, but I considered this move to do this. I should have done it. And where we actually lost our advantage. We could have hit 2100, but we just missed this one idea. We went to the wrong end. We went to the 8th instead of the first. And from there, it was just a plain draw. So, yeah, there it was. We made two blunders only. One over here, we should have gone to e3 and taken, and the other here, just making a winning position into a draw. So, perhaps in the next video we'll hit 2100, so I'll just see you there.